Hello everyone, my name is Mita Purbasari Wahidiyat. I am a lecturer, researcher, and someone who truly loves Betawi culture. Today, I would like to share one of Betawi visual culture that relate to Spice Road, Kebaya Peranakan. I choose this topic because the Spice Road is often seen only in terms of trade and economy, but through the Kebaya, we see it as a story of culture, identity, and aesthetic, something that shaped who we are today.
For centuries, the spice route has connected the Indonesian archipelago with the world. From busy coastal ports, ships from Europe, Arabia, India, and China arrived, carrying not only valuable goods but also stories, traditions, and new aesthetics. Out of these encounters, Batavia was born, a cosmopolitan city where cultures met and transformed. From here, a seemingly simple garment evolved into a symbol of identity, the Kebaya Peranakan. It was never just clothing, but a living archive of the spice route, an archive that brought together the global and the local, giving birth to the distinctive Betawi identity, with the Kebaya Peranakan as one of its most vivid expressions. Through this Kebaya, we can see that the spice route was never only a trade route, but also a route of civilization, one that still lives on today. Spices such as nutmeg, cloves, pepper, and cinnamon drew Europeans to the archipelago from the 15th century, valued not only as flavorings but also as medicine, preservatives, and status symbols. Yet it was not only spices that mattered. Sugar and salt also became major exports. By the 18th century, Javanese sugar reached Malabar, Japan, and Europe, with production soaring in the 19th century, making Java the world's largest sugar exporter after Cuba. Salt production was equally significant, with hundreds of tons supplied annually from coastal Java. These commodities lured Portuguese, Spanish, Dutch, and English ships eastward. But the spice route was more than trade. Southeast Asian ports were cosmopolitan crossroads where Chinese, Arabs, Indians, and Europeans exchanged goods, ideas, and aesthetics. The archipelago thus became a stage of cultural encounters, giving rise to traditions that endure to this day. One way to explore this is through the Kebaya Peranakan, a garment born out of intercultural encounters. By tracing the history of Kebaya Peranakan, we gain deeper insight into Batavia's pivotal position within global trade networks. We also begin to see how such encounters shaped distinctive forms of visual expression, and how this seemingly modest garment became a marker of acculturation, creolization, and ultimately, the identity now known as Betawi. Batavia was founded by the VOC in 1619, on the ruins of Jayakarta. From the outset, it was designed to serve as a hub of the global spice trade. Its port teemed with Chinese, Arabs, Indians, Portuguese, Dutch, and countless peoples from across the archipelago. Out of this diversity, the Betawi community was born. Their identity was forged through mixture, intermarriage, and daily interaction, evolving into a distinctive Creole culture. For this reason, Batavia can rightly be called a cosmopolitan space, a place where traditions converged, clashed, and gave rise to new cultural forms. In coastal societies, clothing often becomes the most visible medium of cultural heritage. Raffles and Crawford noted how women across the islands wore kemben, katang, or baju kurung. These early forms later evolved into the kebaya. Historian Dennis Lombard points out that the kebaya had already existed in Java and the archipelago since the 15th century. Etymologically, the word kebaya is thought to derive from the Arabic kaba, or habaya, meaning a long robe, due to its front opening. The Portuguese later introduced the term kabaya to the region. The long-sleeved kebaya, with its vertical front opening, also bore resemblance to the bazi, a unisex garment commonly worn by lower-class communities during the Ming Dynasty in 14th–17th century China. In Batavia, the Kebaya Peranakan, also known as kabaya ensem, was born. This garment blended the Dutch noni kabaya with Chinese decorative elements such as embroidered peonies, phoenixes, and vivid colors that contrasted sharply with the plain white European-style kabaya. The kabaya Peranakan became a kind of visual archive, preserving within its threads the memory of the spice route and the cultural encounters embodied on the bodies of Betawi women. By comparison, the noni kabaya worn by Dutch women was typically white and adorned with imported lace, while the kabaya Peranakan was far more expressive, colorful and richly decorated with Chinese flora and fauna motifs. The tailoring also differed. The Dutch kabaya was cut straight, while the kabaya Peranakan narrowed at the lower hem in a style known as sonde. This transformation reflected the blending of cultures that produced an entirely new style, neither wholly European, nor entirely local, but a distinct Betawi identity born of Batavia's long process of interaction. The kabaya Peranakan was more than everyday attire. It carried symbolic weight. In weddings, customary celebrations, and cultural performance, it signified the presence of the Betawi community within a multi-ethnic colonial society. Through this garment, Betawi women expressed both elegance and collective identity. Clothing thus became a visual language, a way to negotiate social position within a world structured by hierarchies of race, class, and power. In this sense, the kabaya was not merely fashion, but also a cultural strategy in confronting colonial domination. All of this reveals that the spice route was more than a path of commodities, it was a route of civilizations. Along this route, new cultural forms were born and continue to live on. The kabaya Peranakan stands as one of its enduring legacies. European cuts and lace intertwined with Chinese embroidery, combined further with local batik textiles. Every detail of the kabaya bears the imprint of global crossings, while affirming the Betawi identity as a unique community within the cosmopolitan fabric of Batavia.